This is the Lunchtime Cafe on Camnet TV. My name is Marco Kwakoze. Thank you very much for joining us again for another exciting edition. Now today's program is interesting and fully packed. So make sure that you keep it on channel 274 on DSTV, channel 25 on GoTV, and channel 106 on a Top Star. Those are the channels that you can catch us on. And we are also live on our Facebook page, which is Camnet TV, and also not forgetting our YouTube channel, which is Camnet TV as well. So those are the platforms you can catch us on, and if you want to get interactive with us, you can go to our Facebook page and leave your comment on this particular broadcast, because we are live. And also you can send your messages to the numbers that are on your screens, and later on we are going to be opening the phone lines, so you can call us and give us your thoughts on what we are discussing or what we are looking at this beautiful Monday afternoon. Now the program, as I said, is fully packed. We do have the forgotten stories, we do have the emerging stories, and also we are going to be looking at some sports stories. As you might be aware, over the weekend there were some games as regards the AFCON qualification, the 2023 Ivory Coast AFCON qualification games that were played. Zambia was taking on Comoros in Moroni. We'll be discussing a little bit further about issues to do with the games that were played over the weekend in the world of sports. But we are going to be starting today's program with the forgotten stories, just to remind us of where we're coming from. And of course, these stories are picked from 2020 and 2021, just to refresh our memory. So let's get straight into it and see what we have selected for you to refresh your minds from 2021 and 2020.
Made by the president to partially reopen bars and nightclubs has left many around the city of Lusaka in jubilation. However, despite this decision, President Edgar Lungu has put in stiff measures that bars and nightclubs will only operate from Friday and Sunday while adhering to the directive put in place. The president made this announcement during the 5th session of the 12th National Assembly.
In March this year, I ordered the closure of bars, taverns, and nightclubs, among other outlets, in order to combat the COVID-19 pandemic. While other outlets have since reopened under public health guidelines, bars, taverns, and nightclubs have not. This is because of the danger that COVID-19 pandemic poses to these outlets. I'm cognizant of the suffering that owners of bars, taverns, and nightclubs have experienced since the closure. I'm aware of the consequential suffering of their employees and related businesses. The employers have struggled to pay salaries and to maintain them. The employees, on the other hand, have barely survived, and many of them have become destitute. I know they have struggled to make ends meet, and their livelihoods are in disarray. Mr. Speaker, I therefore wish to announce the partial reopening of these outlets from Fridays to Sundays with immediate effect. But of course, with serious caution that all public health guidelines are strictly adhered to. These outlets shall operate from 18 hours to 23 hours.
And Bars and Nightclubs Owners Association Secretary General Edmond Lifokelo has thanked the head of state for this decision.
Okay, as Bars and Nightclubs Owners Association of Zambia, we are excited by the announcement of the partial opening of our business premises by His Excellency the President. This is what we expected, and this is what we've been looking for the past 5 months now, almost 6 months. And, it's quite good news, because half a loaf is better than nothing. You know, we know that everything has got a starting point. I think to us this is a starting point also, that we need to observe how we are going to live in the new normal. Because we have always been saying that, you know, this pandemic, we don't know when it might go away. So the idea was learn how to live with it. I think the better for us.
Meanwhile, Mr. Lifukelo has urged bars and nightclubs owners to adhere and follow the measures put in place by government or risk being closed permanently.
So please appeal to our members, you know, much as this is good news, much as let us not complain about the hours we've been given, because we are quite aware why the president has made such kind of a decision, and we are quite just very, very happy. So let us prove a point. As an association, I don't think, you know, we are not going to protect anyone who will be found wanting, because the president has been quite very clear that he's not going to hesitate to close down any person actually who's going to flout this, even to close us. The president says he's going to close us. So we are not going to allow one or two members to risk the closure of the rest of the members. So as an association, actually, we are going to work closely with government to ensure that this pilot project, which the president calls pilot project, that it succeeds. After all, it's for the benefit of all of us.
Few months ago, the president had announced the closure of bars and nightclubs and other sectors of the economy to mitigate the spread of COVID-19 in the country. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Mr. Speaker, I have also heard the cries of pupils, the cries of students, the cries of teachers and lecturers, the cries of parents, and the cries of owners of schools, including the ministries of general education and higher education concerning reopening of learning institutions. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that the non-reopening of schools has led to loss of gains made by the learners. And more importantly, all non-examination classes may be at the same level next year. The current examination classes would have no space to progress next year and hence may also lose a year. Mr. Speaker, in this regard, I therefore wish to announce the reopening of all schools, colleges and universities. Of course, again, with caution, and this will have to be done between the 14th of September 2020 and 28th of September 2020, subject to adherence to public health certification guidelines and regulations, and also to allow for satisfactory and adequate consultation and preparations by all relevant authorities, including parents and guardians. The Ministry of General Education and the Ministry of Higher Education must come up with modalities that will ensure all pupils and students catch up after losing 6 months of the academic calendar, which may include revising the curricula. I also urge the two ministries to ensure strict compliance with the COVID-19 measures. I'm encouraged to reopen the schools in the context of the new normal, as espoused by the World Health Organization, WHO.
Childhood is normally supposed to be a period of innocence, a joyous occasion when parents treasure the lives of their children. This is not the case, though, with a 3-year-old girl of Lusaka's Ngombe Kasisi compound who has been allegedly defiled by her stepfather, Shadrack Mwanza, 34. Not just once, but several times. According to the child's aunt, the poor girl is further alleged to have been physically abused by the stepfather.
Tunatengera mwana tunaenda naye pa clinic, Ngombe clinic. After tafika kujazona, mwana temperature is high, baba muchitako inject uti yo kuringisa temperature. Pamu checking apa mubiri upeza ina ma bruises, then no mu checking upeza tuzona ina doti yako yauti mwana amusebenzesa. So ni watu zata endani mukachinyisa statement ku police uti si chani sikumumenya chabe but ali defiled mwana. As for us ba family, because mwana jani muono, either ni tate wake si tate wake, mwana jani muono, and it can happen to any child. Muntu amena gwira mwana wa 3 years na mukazi ali naye, si muntu wonka naye mu society. Ise tufuna chabe is better amangiwe
The mother had allegedly reported that every time her husband defiled the child, she would wrap a piece of cloth around the girl's waist.
And for sure, ninapeza mwana gesi sinambere kumbaramba kudala kumuyuzinga watate wake. So ananuza ta pameniti kamba patate wake bali kudala ku police. Andili ndilizo nyameta apelekera ku police. Mwana peze kadi na mabruises kumukosikonsi. So peta inda ku police kuja pezeka kesi inangu. So bwani muone kapera mungatandize ko munjira ili yonse.
The child's mother, 20 years old, is presently nursing the victim at home. The woman, however, was not ready to speak to the media. She is said to have met the suspect whom she is cohabiting with 5 months ago. With her being pregnant, she wants the man who was arrested by the police over the charge of defilement to be released. She wants the suspect out of police custody in order to take care of clothes for her unborn child. The woman's demand to release the suspect has, however, incensed her neighbors who fear that the alleged defiler would sexually assault the girl again if out of custody. The community are demanding that the matter be taken to court for justice to take its course.
Timvera timukazi afuna saini bamuna bachoke manje pano ise still safe manebazi ndabatiri nabana bakazi so chinkala choti ofya kuti uja muntu abwerere futi pano pa nyumba
akuti na mai wake na hivi aoneka nomu simaningi so ise chametifuna chabe ni tandizo yakuti uja mai wake na kamwana ngati kulitandiza memu ngatandize ku baboma at least uja mwana na mai wake muwatandize ku.
Cases of defilement and child abuse have increased in Zambia. According to the Zambia Police Service Gender-Based Violence Report for 2020, the nation recorded 2,545 child defilement cases, 2,539 girls, 6 boys. That translated to an average of 7 child cases per day, or 1 case every 3 hours 27 minutes that passes. There is a need, therefore, by parents and caregivers, community leaders and churches to act quickly and address the issues of child defilement by making their homes safe. Miriam Kaimba, reporting for Camnet TV News.
The COVID-19 pandemic has united the country for the better. Individual organizations are joining the fight by ensuring that people are sensitized to do the right thing as they conduct their day-to-day activities. Friday morning, the Human Rights Commission sensitized members of the public conducting businesses along Lusaka's Lumumba Road, especially those who sell second-hand clothes, better known as Salaula. Human Rights spokesperson Mwelwa Mulea tells Camnet TV that the decision to sensitize people that conduct businesses, especially in crowded places, was arrived at after realizing that they are more vulnerable both financially and health-wise. Mr. Mulea says the Commission is concerned that most of the people trading in these areas are breadwinners who should not in any way be found contracting the COVID-19 as this would disrupt the living conditions.
Human Rights Commission, we are concerned about the COVID-19 pandemic because of the socio-economic impact it has on society, and we have been involved in community-based public awareness activities to ensure that there is a strict adherence to public health regulations on COVID-19. These critical members of society who are breadwinners in their own respect, the socio-economic impact will be so grave on their livelihood. They are adhering to the public health regulation guidelines on COVID-19. We have seen that others are adhering, others are not adhering. So if others are adhering and others are not adhering, they are undermining the fight. So we are trying to ensure that there is that behavioral change.
Mr. Mulea, however, is concerned that while some people are complying with the health guidelines such as masking up, others are reluctant. He has advised the people to ensure that they protect themselves from the pandemic by following simple laid-down health guidelines.
We are calling upon those who are not observing these public health regulations and guidelines, particularly in terms of wearing masks and maintaining social distance, to start adhering to these regulations. It's in their best interest that their rights to health and life are very critical. You cannot compromise on your right to health and life. And prevention is the best that we can do in this pandemic. We just follow these guidelines and reduce the risks of contracting or transmitting the virus to others. So we hope that with time, people will start adhering. This is a new norm. People have to get used to it.
Zambia has been fighting the COVID-19 pandemic from March 2020 when the first case was recorded. It is hoped that soon the fight will be won. Sharon Kalimbula, Camnet News, Lusaka.
It goes without saying, the mining sector plays a key role in Zambia's economy, contributing over 70% to national GDP. Following President Hakainde Hichilema's speech during the opening of the first session of the 13th National Assembly, the United Mine Workers Union of Zambia has backed government's plans on the mining sector. Omozi President Wisdom Ngwira has backed the president's effort to increase local participation in the mining sector, saying it will result into job creation.
Mr. Hakainde Hichilema for his well-articulated speech on the mining sector. The mining sector plays a key role in our economy. As a union, we are in support of government's effort to increase in the local participation in the sector, because this will result into job creation for our people, more especially the youths, and additionally the profits realized will be shared equally amongst the Zambians. In the speech, the President spoke about increased investment in the sector. This will result into more job creation, resulting into more money in people's pockets, as well as boosting the country's economy.
Mr. Ngwira has further stated that the increase in copper and other mineral production will increase the earnings.
The labor movement would like to urge government to quickly formulate a policy that would immediately ban the exportation of mineral raw materials such as copper concentrates, slimes, copper blisters, and other copper-related raw materials. On the offering of incentives in the sector, this will result into increased investments, which also will result into higher employment rates for our people, more especially the youths, and increased production. On the part of fair share on our mineral wealth, this will motivate the workers to work hard and be more productive. Additionally, this will also result into reduced accidents.
Alex Shimba, Camnet News, Lusaka.
Kwisa kwesu kuno kwisa afikirisha amashuya kwa kateka wa chino chalo wa President Edgar Chagwa Lungu kutila ati wali ababundirwe ifyakulya ubuteko bwa PF, ubuteko bwa balanda, ubuteko bwatemwa omuntu onse bwambi okumupera efyakulya mpaka uyu mwaka ilo mukakwata amaka akuilimina n'okusombola abamanda yawire onso otushingulwiki oku kali buteko bwatila na ng'ombe pabana tachitashani bakateka kali batila yonse amanda yabundire kuno chirang'anda yalapuka simenti 10 na malata 12 pakuchirang'anda ifimbi ya malata.
Bantu bali mu bushiku n'abalala nombo kwisa umfukwineko amenshia isayelepo emukutira emenshia isayelepo makanshi na yatenuna no mushiri na yapita na panshi ya mushiri na mayanda ya tampo kutoka ku bantu balira mutule na kine nefya abantu babafuirisha bali bashimako fyo tutotera bambi nemo bekala bambi tabakwatana pa kwikala bapanga fetuma yanda utuamisa kuta emo balala okufika nelelo tabakwata obwika shibusumayo kanse kibalefu ayo bwafuirisho kubuteko kutira babafuirishe bekale konga abantu
pai babwafuirisho bakateka watu afuirisha tuli abatotera sana twawira banka sashabo ififine fyeberaleka baletwafu afye ifine kabiri nemfwe tuli kuntanshi yabo tatwakabaluse nebumba byonse lili pano lili pantanshi yabo nemubene mukwayi mwe baleterya amashuwi kuli fwewo tuli pantanshi yenu.
Dr. Nevas Mumba, the leader of the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy MMD, who was among contenders in the just-ended general election, which saw President Hakainde Hichilema emerge as Zambia's 7th Republican president, shared his thoughts about the presidential speech during the official opening of the 13th session of the National Assembly. Dr. Mumba is happy with the pronouncements made to curb the infiltration of political cadres in public places.
Basically, number one, his insistence on the rule of law, meaning that never again are we going to go to a country where hooliganism is the order of the day. Also where cadres hold the law in their own hands. If we can see this thing implemented, we are going to give ourselves as a nation an opportunity to develop.
Pastor Mumba also hailed the approach taken to combat corruption in the country, which he said tallies with the MMD agenda.
Party democracy takes that aspect of fighting corruption as a personal fight or as an institutional fight on behalf of the MMD. We will support these virtues and aspirations of this new administration as long as they remain committed to the issues that the president has raised, to fight corruption and ensure that they support the institutions so charged with the responsibility of fighting corruption. And in this case, we are talking about the SEC, DEC, even the police service, that they need to become professional now. It's the only way we can compete on the global platform for sustainable development if we are organized, we have the rule of law, we are fighting corruption, we give an opportunity to the country to develop.
He believes once most of the pronouncements are implemented, the country will witness massive development.
The participation of the private sector in making sure that we move the economy forward. Not only the public sector, but also giving a lion's share to the Zambian investor in his own economy so that Zambians have a better and a greater percentage of participation in the organization and in the improvement of our economy. So we think these are the basic principles of the Movement for Multi-Party Democracy. We believe in private sector-driven economy. If we can together be united to be able to fight these things that have discouraged us from growing and going forward, I believe we have an opportunity to develop this country.
Patrick Soko, Camnet News in Lusaka.
As Local Government Association of Zambia, we are elated by our Republican President's inspiring address to the first session of the 13th National Assembly, in which, his government has resolved to give decentralization practical expression. I think this is an important program where implementation in the past has been a challenge, and yet the Zambian people have declared through the Republican Constitution that this is the way they want to be governed, as a way of enhancing local democracy. And so for any decentralization process to work, there is need that the process is accompanied by matching resources. And in the past, we haven't seen the commitment to that effect.
Thank you very much. So those are some of the stories that we picked for you from our Forgotten Stories basket. Just to remind you of where we are coming from and what used to happen in those years. Now, moving on, let's get into a segment that is called the Emerging Stories segment. Now, this particular segment gives an idea of the stories that are expected to run during our menus at exactly 19:30 this evening. So these are some of the stories that our reporters are currently working on in the field, and they will be giving us the details of these particular stories later on in the evening. But before we get into those particular stories, there's a story that we thought we should start with this particular afternoon, and it comes from the southern province, and it says Chief Muguni of the Tokalea speaking people of Kazungura district has appealed to government to promote rural investment in the Zambezi Valley. And Chief Muguni says government should consider reserving an employment quota at the Zambia Electricity Supply Corporation, ZESCO, for youths that come from the chiefdoms of Chief Pepo, Sikongo and Simamba. Now, Zanis reports that the chief said the move will act as settlement for the immense sacrifice their forefathers made after being forcibly removed from their fertile ancestral land in paving way for the construction of the Kariba Dam in 1958. Now, Chief Mukuni said this when he graced this year's Zambangulwe traditional ceremony of the Tonga-speaking people in Chipepo district in Chief Chipepo of Chirundu district. And visiting Chief Ndengande of the Tonga people of Zimbabwe called on both Zambia and Zimbabwe to enhance cultural, social and economic ties for the benefit of their sister countries. Let's have a look at this report.
Ceremony in Zambia, the Zimbangulwe traditional ceremony of the Tonga-speaking people of Chief Chipepo of Chirundu district in Southern Province is getting bigger and better annually. Dating back to the 1950s, during the time of the construction of the Kariba Dam by the British colonial masters for the power generation for both Zambia and neighboring Zimbabwe, when the Tonga people were settled in Lisitu area. Zimbangulwe means floods, though in recent years it has become a ceremonial dance of resistance of the Tonga-speaking people. Chief Chipepo's subjects treasure this ceremony because they link it with the days when they were brutally removed from their fertile ancestral lands by the former colonial masters.
The President of this Republic, may the Lord give him, grant him grace for divine wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment to lead this nation in a godly way. Let us grant all the other hands who are here. Grace, for divine wisdom, knowledge, understanding, and discernment, so that they are able to lead the people, this nation, their subjects, in a godly manner.
Among many other things, the ceremony also accords both the royal establishment, key stakeholders, and the government a platform to highlight on various social and developmental projects that have been undertaken in the chiefdom.
But I think that certain things that have to be done have to be really self-perpetuating to ensure that people in this area are really able to recover from being displaced from the Zambezi area. But I noticed that my brothers and sisters here are contributing to this place becoming more dry by cutting down trees indiscriminately.
On its part, both the Zambian and Zimbabwean governments, through its implementing agency, the Zambezi River Authority (ZRA), is reassuring traditional leaders and the people of the Zambezi Valley of continued development aimed at bettering their lives.
The Zambezi River Authority established the Zambezi Valley Development Fund (ZVDF). The mandate of ZVDF ZVDF is to ameliorate the challenges faced by the riparian communities who were resettled during the construction of the Kariba Dam by increasing access to social amenities and assisting some communities to embark on income generation projects.
And this year's event was graced by Chief Mokoni of the Tokalea people of Kazungula district in Southern Province. Chief Mokoni now feels it is time for the Zambian government to offer tangible benefits to the people that were displaced to pave way for the construction of the Kariba Dam in 1958.
In closing, I wish to make an earnest appeal to the government to direct the to create a specified permanent employment quota to be reserved for the employment of your people, Congo and its membership as a permanent settlement for the sacrifices that their forefathers made before and during the construction of the dam.
This year's event was also special as Tonga chiefs from neighboring Zimbabwe were also in attendance, as they are basically the same people.
pejeka janika ndimwe alimwe bantu bakafamba ingi tozolanga abantu bamwe bakafita ngunda ukubatoko bakaleletuka kama muri kuti muntu aumwe chini changu atira chini chaulonga kwangu akukhala ngwauti na pezi kamba matokali jaitwe pe utakale kuwo.
Zanis reports in Chirundo district of Southern Province.
That is about the Zambangule traditional ceremony that was held in Chirundo district of the Southern Province over the weekend. Now let's move on to the next story. Now this one says the Patriotic Front acting president Given Lubinda has made several appointments and reshuffles to re-energize the party. Now he has appointed former Minister of Water Affairs Honorable Rafael Nakachinda as new Secretary General of the party. Until now, he was member of the Central Committee in charge of information and publicity. Member of the Central Committee, Ambassador Emmanuel Mwamba, was Mr. Nakachinda's deputy and has been appointed as chairperson for information and publicity. Let's have a look at this.
We also are going to start taking measures to make sure that we put Hakainde Hichilema where he belongs, behind us. We want to lead him, because that's what we are. We are leaders. We want to lead him. He is used to being in the opposition, so we'll make sure that even as he claims to be president of Zambia, he is in the opposition. We want him to be running after us. We want him to be arresting us when we want a meeting, he arrests us. Because that's what the opposition does. Leaders provide leadership. The opposition follows. So we will not follow. For us, we will lead. In leading, I want to emphasize we are going ahead with our rallies. We are going ahead with mobilizing our Zambians to make sure that they see what is happening in the country. In so doing, we have decided to bring in more people in the leadership of the party. First, for Copper Belt, we have decided that the current chairman, hard-working chairman for the Copper Belt, Nathan Chanda, deserves to be elevated. We're therefore elevating Comrade Nathan Chanda from Copper Belt as Copper Belt chairman to deputy chairman responsible for a very important sector, the one that Hakainde doesn't like, so that now he can meet dynamite. When he interferes with the enjoyment of freedom of conscience, he will meet Nathan Chanda. So Nathan Chanda will work together with Reverend Sumaili to run the Department of national guidance and religious affairs. In his place, we have appointed Mr. Study Mwale. I have also transferred Madam Monica Mwale Mwansa to the position of Deputy Chairperson for Primary Health and Child Development.
That is an interesting development coming from the opposition patriotic front, as the acting president has made appointments. And now Athias Kaputula is on it and will be giving us the details on that particular story at 19:30. So do make sure that you tune in at 19:30 to get the details of that particular story. Now let's move on. The Advocates for National Development and Democracy, ANDD, has called on stakeholders in the mining sector to support government's progressive mining reforms in the mining industry. Now, and Executive Director Samuel Banda says reforms such as the Mineral Regulation Commission should be supported by all well-meaning Zambians because they are aimed at benefiting the nation. The Mineral Regulation Commission will promote integrity, transparency, address illegal mining activities, and ensure the investors adhere to our mining policies and regulations. He says he has also called on government to promptly find an equity partner to run Mopani mine, saying Konkola copper mine has been sorted amicably. He acknowledged that one of the reasons why previous investors misbehaved was the fact that the country did not have such policies to regulate them. He emphasized that the people of Zambia should support these mining reforms for the nation to adequately benefit from its mineral resources and make the mining sector viable. Moving on, the Zambia Institute for Mass Communication, ZAMCOM, says it remains committed to ensuring that health issues affecting people of Zambia are adequately addressed through timely dissemination of accurate information. Now, ZAMCOM board chairperson Leonard Kantumoya told journalists at a media workshop that timely access to information enables citizens to make informed choices on the health preventive measures. Let's have a look at this.
And the Ministry of Information and Media, under which we fall, attach great importance to matters of health, hence our strong collaboration with USAID, JSH, to ensure that health issues affecting the people of Zambia are addressed through timely dissemination of accurate information. Colleagues, let me state that timely access to information enables citizens to make informed choices on health preventive measures. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the press, I have no doubt that the experts from the Ministry of Health and others carefully chosen to facilitate during this workshop will present us with a comprehensive perspective. This workshop will have failed to achieve its objectives and goals if we do not take the responsibility and the opportunity to learn from the various presentations to be made by the experts in our meeting. I therefore urge all of you to pay close attention to the deliberations during the course of this workshop. This will become the basis on which you will report accurate, relevant, and timely health information to your respective audiences. Members of the press, fellow participants, this training has come at an opportune time as my organization is tirelessly augmenting government efforts in addressing a number of health-related challenges through different forms of communication. This collaborative training, therefore, resonates very well with ZAMCOM's two-pronged mandate, which is premised on 1, media training through the provision of training programs in journalism and public relations from certificate right up to master's level.
So that is about reporting on HIV and AIDS and ensuring other health issues are covered to ensure that we give the citizens the opportunity to make correct decisions as regards their health. That's another story that you can look at for in detail at exactly 1930 this evening. Now moving on, the Socialist Party Deputy Secretary General Antonio Mwanza has expressed disappointment at the statement attributed to Mines Minister Paul Kabuswe, saying that Vedanta won't be given tax holidays. Now, Mr. Mwanza says this statement coming from a minister is appalling, to say the least, and wondered whether the minister is ignorant of his own ministry's mining tax policies. He reminded Mr. Kabuswe that government has given tax holidays to all foreign multinational mining corporations, adding that these tax breaks are applicable to all foreign mining firms operating in Zambia, Vendetta inclusive.
As Minister of Mines ought to understand that his government has given tax holidays to all foreign multinationals. And Vedanta is one of those foreign multinationals that is benefiting from tax holidays. In 2021, Finance Minister Stumbeko Msokotwane, in his first budget presentation under the UPND administration, announced the introduction of tax breaks for mining companies, making Zambia lose hundreds of millions of dollars annually in unpaid taxes. Coupled with tax avoidance, price transferring, tax refunds, capital flight, externalization of profits, and other illicit financial flows, Zambia is losing an estimated $3 billion annually from the mining sector alone. And just like in the 2021 national budget, the UPND government in their last year's budget again gave mining companies tax holidays by reintroducing deductibility of the mineral royalty tax. As if that is not enough, this government has further given foreign mining companies more tax exemptions by suspending import taxes on mining equipment and machinery through the implementation of statutory instrument number 50 of 2022. As Socialist Party, we call upon government to cancel these tax breaks that they have given to foreign mining companies. We need the hundreds of millions of dollars that the mining companies are not paying in order to improve our economy, to invest in electricity, to invest in agriculture, to invest in education, to invest in health, to invest in infrastructure. That is what we need that money for. If we are able to collect the hundreds of millions of dollars that we are losing, we would be able to subsidize our electricity, would be able to subsidize our fuel, and in doing so, we would reduce the cost of doing business and eventually reduce the cost of living.
Thank you very much. That is a story from the Secretary General of the Socialist Party, Antonio Mwanza. Now, moving on, Zambia's ambassador to the United States, Chiwamba Kanyama, says there is need to recognize the challenges Zambia is facing in trying to revitalize its economy. Now, he says there is need to take the required action to assist develop a sustainable alternative livelihoods, working alongside private sector partners through joint ventures to create jobs and reduce demand for illicit goods such as illegal charcoal and bushmeat. Now, Mr. Kanyama said this in his opening remarks in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Shifting Mindset Conference organized by Zambia Leadership Foundation and Association of Zambians in Atlanta. This is the 4th annual Shifting Mindsets, and the theme Shifting Mindsets for Entrepreneurial Success, with the 3rd conference coordinated by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and International Cooperation in liaison with the Diaspora Association, held in Livingstone, Zambia in July 2022. So that's it. for the stories that you do expect in our main news this evening. This has been the emerging stories segment. Let's now get into the sports segment, but we will do that only after this short break.
On Monday, 11th September 2023, on National Matters, join Pastor Moses Chiluba with his guest, Kasonde Mwenda, President of EFF.
They don't have that money. They have been downgraded, they are in debt. Now they are trying to use KCM to leverage and make money out of us. Where do we put the people of Zambia? Where is their interest? So what we are seeing, those are false words, and we can bet on it. What?
As they discuss, is the political atmosphere conducive and democratic in Zambia? Watch and subscribe to Camnet Television Network on DSTV channel 274, GoTV channel 25, Topstar channel 106. Camnet Television, your #1 community station in Zambia. This is your channel of choice. Camnet TV, not just another channel.
Thank you very much. Welcome back. This is the Lunchtime Cafe on Camnet TV. We are now looking at some of the activities in the world of sports. And as you might be aware, this has been a fully packed weekend as regards sports activities. Now, one interesting item that has just come up this morning is that Trident Football Club have sent head coach Israel Mwanza on administrative leave following a poor start to their debut 2023-2024 MTN Super League campaign. Assistant coach Arnold Malisawa has since been left in charge of the team in an interim capacity. So Israel Mwanza of Trident are sent on administrative leave. Now, administrative leave basically in Zambia is a new term for firing a coach. So when they want to fire a coach, they tell you they have sent that particular coach on administrative leave. That is what happened also to Beston Tambeshi of Nkana Football Club. He was sent on administrative leave, meaning a new coach had to come in, and that is Ian Bakala, who is the new Nkana Football Club coach, taken over from Beston Tambeshi. Now, you might be aware by now that the Copper Queens have two friendlies lined up against Morocco very soon coming up, and coach has already named the squad of players that he feels should take part in this particular game. And we do have Catherine Msonda as one of the goalkeepers, Eunice Sankala, and of course Letitia Lungu and Loveness Tonge from Prison Leopards. Letitia, of course, from Zesco United, and Eunice from Nkwazi Queens, not forgetting Catherine Msonda from Timiris in Kazakhstan. So those are the goalkeepers expected to participate in that particular game. Defenders, we do have Pauline Zulu from Elite Lusaka Dynamos, and we do have Martha Tembo from Kazakhstan as well. We do have Esther Siamfuko, Lushomo Mwemba, Esther Banda, all from Green Buffaloes, and also Judith Soko from Yasa, Mary Mlenga from Red Arrows, Vasti Piri from Zesco United, Jacqueline Nkole from Indeni Roses, Theo Machela from Zanaco Ladies. So those are the defenders for this particular game. Midfielders, we have Helen Tanda from Hakari Gutu in Teki, and Irene Lungu from Kaziskat from in Kazakhstan rather, Evren Katongo, ZISD women, Mary Wilombe from Red Arrows rather, Susan Banda also from Red Arrows, Avot Tundu from Zescondola Girls, and Comfort Selemani from Elite Lusaka Dynamos ladies. Strikers Otumba Oseke Lubanji from Red Arrows, Helen Mubanga from Zaragoza CCF in Spain, Rachel Kundananji from Madrid CFF in Spain, and of course Barbara Banda from Shingai, Shengli in China, Agnes Piri, Salome Piri from Green Buffaloes, Natasha Nanyangwe from Green Buffaloes, and Regina Tanda from Zanaco ladies. So that's the squad expected to participate in those two friendly games to be played against Morocco. Now, over the weekend also, it was the AFCON qualifiers. As you might be aware, next year, January, the AFCON is on in Ivory Coast, and a number of games were played over the weekend. Zambia did take on Comoros in Moroni, and they did draw 1-0, a result that meant that Zambia finished top of the group with 13 points, followed by Ivory Coast also with 13, and then Comoros and Lesotho in that particular order. So we do have some reactions and of course highlights of that particular game between Zambia and Comoros in Moroni, Comoros. So we are going to be leaving you with the highlights of that particular game and the reactions from some of the players. On behalf of the entire production team, do make sure to join us again tomorrow at exactly 12 hours when we come to you with another interesting program. On behalf of the entire production team, have a blessed afternoon.
Well, there's no secret, but I'll just say it's teamwork, it's togetherness, because like you mentioned, it's a team sport and I can't do anything by myself. But with the support that I receive from my teammates, I think it has yield results, and we can see that we are able to do what we have done because of the quality that we have in the team. And I just appreciate and thankful that we share the same uncommon goal. So I'm excited every time I know that I'm coming to play with the guys, because I know we have come a long way and we're still going a long way. And I'm just excited to see what the future holds for all of us. It was really a tough game. We knew when we were coming here that it was not going to be an easy game. And we prepared ourselves mentally, physically, every area that we could. And yeah, at the end of the day, we wanted more from the game, but I think we'll get the 1 point and just build from that one to go forward. Well, I would say it was great. It was what we expected, because the main goal was really to qualify. It didn't matter how we're going to do it, because we have missed out for a long time. And most of us, we haven't played at the senior AFCON, so it was a great opportunity for all of us. And to be able to qualify, it was a big achievement. It's a dream come true for most of us. But most importantly, we know that this is just the beginning of the journey, because we want to achieve a lot of great things, and we just have to start building from what we have achieved now, because there's a lot of more work that has to be done. Well, the fans have been amazing, to be honest, not just in this campaign, but even the campaigns that we have failed to qualify. They've always been there to support us. The stadiums are always full when we are playing. Regardless of the situation we are in, the fans have always been behind us, and we are grateful. It's because of their support also that we have managed to achieve what we have achieved now, and we just look forward to even giving them more. The first thing was to qualify to the AFCON, which is also going to be part of the preparations for the big event. We know how big of the World Cup is and how much we want to go there. We've missed out so many times, and this is a great opportunity for all of us, and we know that impossible is nothing. Everything is possible, and we have all the ability and the quality to qualify to the World Cup. So we're just going to give everything that we can, like we have done in the Africa Cup qualifying games.
It's a tough game. We know they're a good team. In the first half especially, you saw that they were playing some really good football. and they deserve to be 1-0 up. I didn't think they created a lot of chances. I thought defensively our shape was quite good, but obviously they scored a good free kick and they probably deserved to be leading at half-time. But I thought the second half we were really good, created a lot of good chances, and I think probably deserved to win in the end. But on another day, there's opportunities to win. But it was a good game. But pleasing thing to top the group, and obviously not to lose the game after being 1-0 down. I think it's been really good. There's loads of positives to take from these qualifying games. Disappointing yesterday not to end with a win, which is a good mentality for the team to have. But on the other end of it, being 1-0 down and not losing the game is also very important. But if you look at all the games as a whole, I think the team's done really well. We look really good. And yeah, to top the group speaks volumes for how we've done so far, but we just need to keep our feet on the ground and keep building. Yeah, it's of course more tough games. Every game's a tough game. Obviously we're playing lots of different nations and they're bringing their best players to play, so every game's going to be difficult, but I think we have a really good chance. The team believes in itself, we're playing with a lot of confidence. We just need to keep believing in ourselves. With the support of the nation behind us, anything's possible. And I think everyone knows and can see that we give our all every time we step out onto that pitch, and we try to do our best to represent Zambia.